What's up, everybody? Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. I'm Noah Strackbein, and today we're talking inside linebacker. I think it's a position that caught a lot of buzz, a lot of noise. People were very upset with Devin Bush and Robert Spillane's not living up to what some hoped that he could possibly turn into this offseason, the whole nine. At some point, we actually turned a page and said Mark Robinson might be an answer next to Miles Jack. He's not. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to right now ride with Devin Bush to be their starting inside linebacker next to Jack, with Robert Spillane coming off the bench and possibly Mark Robinson playing a little bit of a backup role next to Spillane. But things have gotten interesting. There's a new name that has emerged. Cuts have started. Teams are dropping guys, veterans will be released, and there's a number of positions that the Pittsburgh Steelers should keep an eye on. Offensive line is certainly one of them. Truthfully, should be the biggest one. The Steelers are only as good as their offensive line is going to allow them to be, and right now that offensive line is terrible. But I believe that things can get better. There are going to be lots and lots and lots of cuts. The other position is defensive or is edge rusher, outside linebacker. TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith can only play a certain amount of snaps, and Hamaka Rashid, as well as he's played in practice, hasn't lived up to the hype in the 2 preseason games. And right now, it's him and Derek Tushka. And if you feel good about either of them, I don't know what football you're watching, because it's not the Pittsburgh Steelers football games. It's where we are. The third option might be inside linebacker. And there's other noise and positions to talk about, obviously. You could talk about safety and how DeMonte Casey's injury puts a big damper on all of the secondary plans, because it does. They were going to run a lot, and I mean a lot, of 3 safety sets with Terrell Edmunds down in the box. And now they're going to hope that Trey Norwood could turn into DeMonte Casey in that role. But at the same time, they want Trey Norwood to be the next Cam Sutton. They want him to be the versatile chess piece that can play corner, slot, nickel, dime, and safety. They don't want to have to stick him in the middle of the field and say, okay, you have to play here because Terrell Edmunds has to play in the box, which brings us full circle to inside linebacker. Are you pleased with Devin Bush? Are the Steelers pleased with Devin Bush? I don't think the answer is yes for either one. Right now, Devin Bush has shown some splash here and there, and his 4th down tackle on 4th and 1 against the Lions was awesome. It really, truly was. It was a spark and a glimpse of what could and should be with Devin Bush. But it wasn't enough to say, oh, okay, well, he's back to full form and things are going to be fine. Because throughout the game, you saw he still can't shed blocks. He still has no natural instinct to go chase down a runner. And for a guy that was brought in here with a ton of athleticism that they hoped could turn into a coverage linebacker, but had already possessed run stuffing ability, it's a shame that right now we're looking at a guy who can't do either. So do you bring somebody else in? The big name that's hit the market is Jarrad Davis, former 1st-round pick out of Florida, went to the Detroit Lions, worked out for 2 great years, made the PFWA all-rookie team, then dropped off, ended up on the Jets for a season, went back to Detroit this summer, and then got cut. Dan Campbell loves him, apparently. Apparently, he's a hard worker, and it was a very tough decision to let him go, but it was just a numbers game. He's only 27 years old, and at one point, I mean, he was a 100 tackle per season guy. But at one point, Devin Bush was too. Is he the next option? He's the first person I got a text about. There's been a lot of names that got cut. Sony Michel's a big one. OJ Howard's been cut. There's a lot of names out there that people are looking at and going, oh, okay, maybe the Steelers should look this way. Maybe the Steelers should look that way. He was the first name that I got a text about where somebody said, we have to go get Jarrad Davis. And my first instinct was, no, the Steelers should not go get Jarrad Davis. He's not very good anymore. It's just a wasted pick or a wasted signing, and you're going to just toss a bunch of money away for no reason. That was my first reaction. Then I had to sit down. I had to think about it because that's my job. My job is to sit down, rationally discuss this, look over the numbers, look over his film, and say, okay, whether or not he's going to be a valuable piece to the Pittsburgh Steelers and whether or not they should go out and try to get him. I watched some film. I looked at the numbers. I read some reports, and my analysis remains the same. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't need to add Jared Davis. Here's what they need to do. They need to hope that Devin Bush is the answer at inside linebacker. They need to focus on every other area of that team that needs to be fixed. And then they need to have options around Bush. Robert Spillane's one of them. And Robert Spillane is a reliable inside linebacker off the bench. You shouldn't have him out there for most of a series, but he's a reliable inside linebacker off the bench. You should continue to develop Mark Robinson and hope that he turns into something quite large. He's got thumper in him. He loves playing special teams. The dude's fast. He's quick. He doesn't care about hitting people. You got to love all of that. You hope that he turns into something and turns into something immediately. Then you figure out your safety position and you hope that Terrell Edmunds can make his way into the box more times than not. That gives you options. That gives the Pittsburgh Steelers three ways to look at this defense and say, okay, Devin Bush is the starter next to Miles Jack. Chances are he's not going to just totally suck on every single down. But if he is having a bad day, Robert Spillane could fill in there from time to time. And truthfully, even when Devin Bush is having a good day, Robert Spillane should still see the field, because at that point, you're taking Devin Bush off and his liability to flip the switch and have a bad play off the field. Then you hope that Mark Robinson could do the same thing. And if you give him 2 or 3 snaps a series, that's not a bad thing. Keeps the rotation moving, keeps fresh legs out there, and hopefully keeps positive plays out there. And then finally, you hope that Trey Norwood can add playing the third safety into his million roles on this defense and move Terrell Edmunds into the box every so often. And by every so often, I mean quite often. And then you have another option. If you could keep that rotation steady, if you could constantly switch up this defense and make offenses guess of who's going to play inside linebacker next to Miles Jack and how you're going to set up this defense to avoid a big hole, which is Devin Bush, I think the Steelers will be in an okay situation. I think the rest of that defense can somewhat plug up. I don't want to say this confidently, but somewhat plug up a rather nonchalant inside linebacker room. And then you go out and you fill other needs. You go get an outside linebacker because God only knows you need an outside linebacker very, very bad. You go out and you get another option, a guard, and hopefully tackle, because Dan Moore and Kendrick Green cannot be your answers to the offensive line. And truthfully, Kevin Dotson hasn't done anything to say, okay, you're it either. And if he can't stay healthy, you're going right back to Kendrick Green, who, if Kendrick Green was a 6th round pick, he wouldn't be on this roster this season. That's how bad he's played. You go out and you plug those, and then you let your options handle inside linebacker. If you do that, I think the Steelers will be fine. There's no need to go out and sign somebody right now. If a big name becomes available, it's a different conversation. But right now, a guy like Jared Davis, who's probably on the same role and the same playing field as Devin Bush, you might as well just rock with the options that you have. And that's the best way to go about this for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cue the ESPN signature sound. I know we don't have it. I've been saying this all month. I know we don't have it. Fellas, fantasy football draft season is right around the corner. CD Lamb is good, but have you seen these beautiful balls? It's time to get your snake looking right for this snake draft with the sponsor of today's show, Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming have created a championship lineup with their Performance Package 4.0. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with our code STEELERS20. Inside their Performance Package 4.0, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner spray, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag. Tom Brady didn't come out of retirement for you to have hairy balls. Slotted at quarterback, we have the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. This spaceship is here to guide you on a journey to trim your body, balls, and even your A-gap. This fourth generation trimmer also features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on-off switch, which can engage a travel lock and is even waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight, which allows you to be just as accurate as Bill Belichick with that challenge flag. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker, the ultimate flex. Watch it run through ear and nose hair like Derrick Henry coming up the gut. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those sensitive holes. Don't forget to use the Crop Preserver ball deodorant and their Crop Reviver to help your little bench warmers be on their A game while feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Who's the commissioner now? Get 20% off plus free shipping with our code STEELERS20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with our code STEELERS20 at manscaped.com. It's time to put the PP back in PPR and get a grip on your pigskin this season with Manscaped.